cavities, birth canals, and everything. This is a kid-friendly game, we swear. Well, then again, every kid...
Kuni.
Well, I guess to be fair, any
so
kid's
part
gotta
19,
learn about
fuck.
this eventually.
I can't do the intro right.
Dweebs, don't worry, just
You
one of the parts of Azrael's Rabbit I met.
Dweebs are up.
Basically,
first we
I
have to
confused
use
part
the
8, part 8 with part 10. So
I love how in the treasure
it
chest you
happens.
found a cup of strong coffee. I guess that's a Welsh thing.
So he's missed. So is this?
Not
is
so
this
much that. Not so much
Mr.
that.
Brat?
Yeah.
Oliver, it's you. Oh, thank goodness you're here.
Yeah, it's me.
It's me, Austin.
Ah, son of a.
What's wrong, Horace?
Again, this. Okay.
I'm dead. Oh, I stole the
Well, that too, yeah.
When I woke up, I was here.
Yeah, the plot twist, being dead fucking sucks.
Nah.
Yeah. No, I can't. No, I can't have sex with anyone now because that'd be creepy.
You're a kid.
Actually, Theo,
Yeah,
forget.
I know. For the sake of a joke, though.
I never knew that
Yeah.
there was a whole forest full of these little loonies. When did this happen?
Well, we entered. Well, the PS3 version happened, and it added this particular part. So, why, you little bugger? Whatever.
Only centuries? Well, they wouldn't have been here when I was on my travels then.
I'm sorry. Back when I was alive, there was only the DS version. Eh? What are you on about?
Nothing. Anyway, it may not be where I expected to see you next, but let's give you your next puzzle anyway, shall we?
Oh yeah, was Horace in the original DS version?
No, he
You're
wasn't.
pretty good with
Well-
these days, Oliver. That means you must have a genie at your command.
I'm guessing there wasn't really that much of... Oh wait, no, there was an overworld
It's
in the
because
DS version.
well, remember, Joe, in the original DS version, there was not the civilization of Nazca wasn't there yet, so
Yeah.
there's just out of that.
You've seen the form where they go by wizards over the years and the wizard's companion, haven't you?
True.
When it comes to since the PS3 version required, of course, more content for the sake of, PS3 and stuff, Hino took advantage to expand upon the lore by adding the Nazcan civilization and the Nazcan language and stuff like that.
And a certain other factor, which I won't reveal is actually extra content yet.
Then you'll know just what that certain special something no burger can do without is, won't you?
Okay, guys, question. So what
cheese?
is that special something no burger can do without? If only we had Maya in here.
I know, right?
So, guys, any
I'm talking
guesses?
about-
Well,
I
it
think
can't.
I remember
meat.
it, but I don't want to know for now.
Well, it can't be buns because there are such things as lettuce burgers.
Okay, yeah, my guess is cheese, if I recall correctly.
So
But
let's
again,
just-
it's been so
cheeseburger.
much since I
So let's
played
check.
the game.
Cheeseburger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where's
sandwich.
the actual burger in that?
Where's the actual cheese?
Moldy
Fish
trees.
burger, sandwich.
And there's no
That's
fish in the materials needed for a fish burger. Okay.
Yeah, the past few times Tio said moldy cheese, just thought of something. Is mentioning moldy cheese like a berserk button a shoe-way? Because every time Tio says this, she always like, well, cheese is a mold.
Sure, the only reason you say that is because you haven't played King's Quest V. Moldy cheese is a powerful energy source.
Actually, we kind of told her about that already.
No, I don't think you did.
Yeah,
Nope.
we did. I recall. Then
Even
again,
if
it
we
was,
did-
then again, it was
even-
years
even
ago
if
when
we
we
d-
told her.
yeah. Even if we did, she probably forgot about it anyway.
Probably.
Hey, I thought I'm the one that forgets things.
Remember though, dude,
I
you
forget
said that
she-
you and
she
Shiroi
always stopped-
are
she-
apparently alike.
Shiro, stop stealing Dibs' shtick.
No. Don't you remember, Pedro? According to Dwibs, they're actually alike because they're supposedly twins. Although we all...
Of course, there you go, guys.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
essential
yeah,
thing in order to
yeah.
make a burger is a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
Duh.
But
Never mind the fact that our births were separated by 8 months.
not only that, but wait, hold on. But there's such a thing as lettuce burgers that don't need bread.
Lettuce burgers? I'm not aware of those.
Yeah, they're a more healthier variant of
Sorry,
burgers.
that's not the right answer.
Well, how hold on. How exactly do you make a hamburger with a... I mean, okay, technically the hamburger is the meat part, yes. But usually when you think of hamburger, you think of the McDonald's style burger. You
Well,
don't really...
Well, actually, I wonder if even McDonald's does lettuce burgers. Basically, though, it's a burger wrapped in lettuce, where all the contents of it are wrapped in the lettuce. In the shape of the burger still. Just instead of, buns, which can have a bit of starch and fat in them, you replace them with lettuce. And wrap it all around.
Basically, what happened was I forgot to put one because I have to write it exactly like it's written.
Again,
I hate that.
style.
Jeez.
Well, to be fair, it's two things. One, it's not like it's hard to check how it's written there, and second, it's optional, so it's not like you have to.
Not just that, Dweebs, it's style. I mean, it's the most basic thing that humanity can do. Complaining about it,
Whoa, one at a time,
in your
guys.
class. So.
What about like adding on another, like when you code it, just type in, if this, if you say that, or if you say that, which is this, but it's the same thing, but it's another way to phrase it.
Dwebs, be thankful it's not like in the original King's Quest 3, where a single typo would fucking mean death.
Wait,
Yes.
I got it now, you guys. The update in YouTube, wherein on the user channel you have to type in stuff precisely like it is on the title. This is where it got the inspiration from.
Loaf of. Don't you have to space that out,
bread.
Pedro?
I think, I just figured. Yeah, what happened was, I actually do remember what was going on here. I was writing I was literally trying my best to, pay attention to the keyboard, but I didn't notice the lack of space. But I did notice it in time.
Yeah,
as you can see.
this is one thing.
So that's what was happening. I was getting the white part of it.
Yeah,
Lots
this
of
is
white
definitely
breath.
this is definitely one advantage that the DS version has over the console over the.
Well, actually,
PlayStation version.
the DS version didn't have puzzles like this.
Oh well, okay. Hypothetically speaking, then.
Especially remember Jova because it was Japanese exclusive, so even if it had something like that, the keyboard will be made based on ideograms, the Japanese. Oh, hold on. Important stuff.
All right. So,
Look at that. They have a little stage and everything.
Take that. Thank you and good night.
Yay!
yay!
Hard, tough crowd.
How long is this going to go on for? This is embarrassing.
Is this probably come the stage show?
Crikey, another stinker.
Well, actually, I thought of giving Surly to Dwebs.
Crikey, another stinker.
I'll be Smiley, of course.
Get it, Dweebs?
Well, if it ain't my old pals Smiley and Surly. How do, boys?
Oh, I get it because we had you voice Johnny Smiles on the crossover. Of course.
Drippy!
How do, man? Long time no see, eh?
Long time no see.
Long time no see.
You reap what you sow, Pedro.
Pedro
You
didn't
reap what you
last for any of
frickin'
this.
sow.
Fucking Japan. Anyway, never mind that my small talking pet of layabouts. What are you doing back there? I sent you on to spawn flipping shit out, and there you go. They're the ones who were giving him information while he was at all. Like you said. in the
Well,
beginning.
you see, we just popped back home to get some cash to continue funding our espionage in it, though.
Just go on Kickstarter.
We've been working ourselves off, man. Got a tiny bit of info just the other day we did.
Remember,
See,
Tio, this is 2013.
what it- Wait. See, what it is typo. Anyway,
Don't you see, Tio, though? This is 2013. Back in the day, the Kickstarting end was being dominated by Shantae FG Nihiro, Shovel Knight, and oh, yeah!
Being that it's not worth mentioning. Moving
Long
on.
time though, shut the fuck up.
yeah.
So the news you were
Anyway.
getting while you were a doll? Mr. Drippy, it was from...
These two.
Makes
It was from
sense.
a-
Red,
it was
blue,
from
and
an
green.
It was from an English guy trying to sound Welsh and a Portuguese guy trying to sound Welsh.
That's right, Tony boy. Smiley and Surly here were my eyes and ears on the ground. Well, Dwebs, I tried having you. You had a bigger chance of sounding more Welsh than me, but you failed. So I guess we'll just have to do what we got.
Why is...
Right.
You know...
They look a bit
sorry.
wet, man. And this one by here looks like he pinched a dummy from a baby's mouth.
In terms of actually doing Welsh accents, I'd say me and Shiroi are the best.
So yeah, like we were.
I wonder why she was the best at it.
So yeah, like we were saying, did we actually say this in the comment? Oh, well, we'll say it again because that's actually relevant now. Smiley and Surly's comedy routine is, of course, the typical Japanese comedy routine, the kabuki comedy routine, where there's a straight man and the man who basically does the comedy. As in, one guy does the joke and the other guy is basically the straight man who reacts to the joke.
Wait, are you sure that's just kabuki? I mean, loads of theater do that.
Well, yeah, but in Japan, there is, well, it is Jova. It is Jova. But the thing is, I'm just saying it because
Pedro, also kabuki involves more so about.
Jova, you're confusing. Kabuki involves a lot of different stuff. This is just one aspect of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Though this might not be best described as kabuki because kabuki involves a lot more movement, shall we say?
Well, actually, it is Jova. They specifically said in the Japanese version.
It's just Jova.
Just the Japanese version. Okay.
That's because Jova. That's because when you think of kabuki, you think the stereotypical version with people falling over, the guy with the chest, or people with mask. That's only one aspect.
You've not heard that, man?
Oh, I know that. I know that there's a lot more to it than that. What I'm just saying is like, well, it's not necessarily something exclusive to kabuki, but then again, going off of the Japanese version, I see where you're coming from, though.
Anyway, back to this. Well, it's like this, see. We've been here all this time, and neither one of these two has cracked a single joke. It was the night fought, man. They're...
not funny.
They're broken-hearted. Not to be confused with broken-hearted.
You mean broken-hearted?
Yeah.
Broken-hearted.
What Ollie Boy said. Sure? Ah, whatever.
Ah, so that's it, is it, man? I was wondering what's up with us, like...
You're probably wondering, what's the difference? We're about to explain. Sure, you're still there, by the way?
Yes.
Ah, okay, then just... Trust is spotted the people like, proper sharp-eyed you are.
Hey, sure, a question.
Yes?
Why is it that people have trouble pronouncing your name? It's actually rather easy to.
I don't know why.
Isn't it Eleri? Or something?
Yes, Larry.
There you go.
It's very easy, and people fuck it up.
Well, sure. The thing is, for me, it's easy because a name written like yours, the way you pronounce words in Portuguese is exactly the way your name is pronounced, basically. So for me, it's easy because I'm used to pronouncing.
I admit
me
that I keep
too.
falling in the trap of confusing with Ellery because 2 L's instead of 1.
Yeah.
Same case with
Like
me.
Ellery
The way you
Queen.
pronounce it is rather easy for me, Larry.
It's one of those things where you have to, instead of reading the name in an English language mindset, you have to read it in a more like an European mindset, I guess.
Meanwhile,
I'll
Dwibs' name is incredibly easy.
Yeah.
And Pedro's
I'll
name
try-
is
I'll try and keep-
there you go.
I'll try and keep pronouncing your real name in mind for when I go Wales.
Anyway, heartbroken people just act all weird. Folks who get heartbroken have it much worse. They stop being funny. They become Carlos Mencia.
Oh my
I know,
god!
terrible, isn't it?
Oh my god! So this explains it. It really
There you
does
go.
explain it.
There you go, Jova. This is why you kept asking during our share of Crystal what happened to Pontek and Graf because you were baffled by how much worse that script was compared to their others. That's what happened. They became broken-hearted. There you go. This explains everything.
Well, thankfully,
it all makes sense now.
Well, thankfully they got cured for Fire and Ice. But oh my god, you know what this also explains, Pedro?
What?
This explains what the heck happened to Happy Madison, and of course the leading.
Jova, I'm not gonna make an obvious joke here, but Happy Madison was never funny to begin with.
Okay, Adam Sandler.
Yeah, Happy. Yeah, I don't get why Happy Gilmore's so popular.
I don't really care much for that. I actually prefer Billy Madison. I actually really like Billy Madison.
Okay. Adam Sandler then.
Like for those who don't know, Billy Madison is a movie where
I award
he
you no
goes back-
points and may God have mercy on your soul.
That's the most famous clip from that movie. Yeah. Anyway, you tidy, a proper legend you are, Drippy boy. If we don't get funny soon, we'll have to split up. Imagine after 17 years.
Imagine that, a group splitting up.
Hysteria.
There you go. We have to save this comedy duo. Go ahead, Shuri.
You're right, Drippy. We should help them, just like you and Oliver helped me.
Alright, so here's how it works. Unlike broken hearted. Broken art means we have to get pieces of art, as in we have to get some funniness from other places to give to them.
I thought broken-hearted meant they had a piece of art, but it was broken.
No. That's hearted.
They accidentally ended up
arted.
that part of Tumblr.
Because
Oh god.
we're talking about heart as in work of art.
No. Well, actually, art as in art.
Unless that's how the Welsh say broken-hearted.
AKA this. Okay, Theo, I get it. Name for this part. Pun confusion. Right, Wally boy, get your piece of art gathering hat on. I reckon 8 should do it. Sound about right to you?
Come on, let's do it. We can get the. We can't let them split up.
Yeah, come on.
No, I meant we can. We totally can.
They're comedians anyway.
So yeah, as you guys know, Hino's humor is very much based on puns, and of course the kabuki routine that these two do obviously has a lot of puns. So I have to give a lot of credit to the localization team for doing a great job in completely, flawlessly making the comedy routine that we're going to see in the next part just as hilarious as this probably was in the Japanese version. And more. In the extra. And in the Japanese, and later on in the extras, in the casino part, I'm going to show off. Here's an interesting thing, Drips. Obviously, the localization team localized it for Western audiences, but here's an interesting thing. After Richard Mark Honeywood gave the translation of the comedy routine to Hino figured, what would be really cool? If we put an extra in the localized version where we are actually trying to localize the localization version of the routine. So we're going to get a Japanese localization of the localization of the original Japanese comedy number.
Oh, I think I get what you mean. So it's like how the Ace Attorney musicals are actually based off of the localizations despite being in Japanese.
Who was actually in charge of the localization?
Richard Mark Honeywood, aka the new Level 5 translation director. He was working at Level 5 now.
Richard Mark Honeywood.
Yeah.
I'll see if
like that, I can see how he's good with coming up puns.
He started out in he did a couple of games, I think, for EA, if I remember correctly, but right now he's working at Level 5.
Anyway, in order to get the pieces of art, it's actually interesting because just for this piece of a game, you had to talk with the fairies around the fairy ground, obviously. But each of them will have a problem, not necessarily related to being broken-hearted or something, but we were requiring instead to use those spells that even you normally don't use, but you just have in inventory and you haven't used so far. So, for example, I think one of them has like something that is an object you cannot.
And apparently Honeywood
cannot get up, so you need to use the spell. A spell that makes it levitate or make it ever. I forgot, it was a long time ago.
Apparently Honeywood did the localization for Silent Leighton.
Silent.
Oh, he means Leighton Brothers.
Mystery Room.
Is it
the reason the one that comes without the music in Britain?
Yeah.
You really have to get around getting an Android, Dwibs.
Yes, you really do, Dwibs.
No, I refuse.
Okay.
Excuse me, can you...
Typical.
Alright, but... So yeah, like Teo said, yes, I'm going to be skipping through most of this dialogue, like Teo said, we're going to be using various spells. Some of them as spells that aren't used elsewhere, like the Broom Room spell, which allows you to just clean things, which quicken growth, rejuvenate. Well, actually, rejuvenate also serves as on battle, but yeah, this is where you'll be mostly using the rejuvenate spell outside of battle. Blah blah, the Hootenanny, blah blah blah. So yeah, even the fairground has a Hootenanny.
Yeah. There you go, and they're also marked on your map, and the place is not even that big to begin with. There are a lot of fairies around, truly, but it's not hard to miss.
The game tells you which specific, considering the minimap, it's incredibly easy to see which. Not to mention when you get close to a fairy and the talking icon shows up. If the talking icon is orange, that means it's the one that you're looking for. So this is pretty much a no-brainer. You shouldn't have any trouble gathering all the pieces of art. So yeah, Dwez, well, since you're checking it out, why don't you talk? Why don't you give us Richard's gameography
His gameography. Okay.
as a
I've got-
translator?
Well, I shut the page, but I should be able to reopen it.
Well, we know.
There we go.
Well, we know right now he's working at level 5 as translation
his
director.
first game. Okay, his first game, he was a programmer for a game called Raiden 2.
Raiden
Don't-
2.
never-
That
never-
name
never heard
sounds
of it.
familiar.
I don't
same-
remember it neither.
Well, okay. His first game, I think his first game as a localizer, I think was Saga Frontier.
Oh.
Oh, really?
Basically, if you don't know,
Interesting.
Saga is one of, much like the Mana series, Saga is one of a spin-off series from Final Fantasy, but just one of the minors. Originally was called Final Fantasy Adventure. No, sorry, Final Fantasy Legend. But then he got his own series called Saga.
He also
Mhm.
did stuff for Xenogears, Chocobo Racing, Final Fantasy VIII, Chrono Cross, Final Fantasy IX, The Bouncer, Final Fantasies 10 and 11, Sword of Mana, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, Dragon Quest VIII.
So he's a bit of a Final
Oh.
Fantasy veteran.
Oh, that explains it. I'm guessing Hino really liked when he worked with him in Dragon Quest VIII, so that's probably
Sword of
why.
Mana, Dragon Quest Monsters Joker, Dragon Quest Swords, Dragon Quest 4, World of Warcraft. That's when he moved. That's when he left Square Enix and went to Blizzard.
So is the Bouncer like an RPG?
He did World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King, StarCraft 2, and World of Warcraft.
Hold on, give me a second.
The bouncer. Did you say the bouncer? Did I
Yeah,
hear it right?
that PS2 game.
The bouncer is basically
It's
Jova.
a beat 'em up, Jova.
It's the beat 'em up with Final Fantasy. Well, it has 3 Final Fantasy 7 characters, but think of it as a Square Enix Smash Brothers game.
Actually, Pedro, you're thinking of her guys. This is another one.
Oh, isn't? Oh,
This is
right,
the-
that's our guys.
This
Oh,
is
never mind.
basically a side project with Nomura made. Well, it wasn't a full Nomura game. The producer was Shinji Hashimoto, and the actor was
yeah.
another guy, Takashi Tokita. But he was the character designer. He was in that phase of his where these characters were chock full of zippers and belts.
You know, Teo, that actually brings up a good point.
What?
Why was Kitase put in charge of being producer of the 13 series instead of Hashimoto? I mean, Hashimoto. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Square fans actually like Hashimoto.
I think it was something like Hashimoto wasn't really interested in it at the time.
I mean, I guess he was busy producing the Kingdom Hearts series at the time. I guess.
I'll check what he was doing at the time.
Well, we know he was the producer on the Kingdom Hearts series. We know that much at least.
Don't you
So I
mean
guess he
the
was
long?
busy with that. Well, in 2010, there was Birth by Sleep, technically, but that was the Osaka team.
Birth by Sleep.
Well, no. Actually, Teo, if you check the credits, he's listed as producer in there as well. So.
Hey, you guys just reminded me back in the day when Birth by Sleep was originally going to be Kingdom Hearts 3.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, for those who don't know, back in the day, as per usual,
Everyone knows
when
anyway.
you always quit off proud mode or something, you would get,
Well, even though it was...
Hold on, guys. Let me explain this. We just found this eagle and the seagull. Sorry, and this seagull is actually carrying a spell. So why? It's obvious, isn't it? She has the levitate spell, by the way, or it rather. Sorry. He likes the light reading.
It's neither.
Boom!
What,
It's
is he Basil
neither-
Brush? Is he Basil Brush? Hey, it's Basil Brush now. Ha ha ha! Boom boom.
Jeepers.
I crack myself up, don't I, Ollie boy?
I guess so. So, yeah, anyway, long story short, originally Birth by Sleep was supposed to be Kingdom Hearts 3 because it had the cinematic cutscene at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2 when you clear proud
Even
mode.
though it wasn't, it was only for the marketing department, it was involved in the vanilla Final Fantasy 14. But I have actually your answers, Pedro. He was a producer in those years. 2011, he was a producer on both Type 0 and the DC Duodecim.
So
Then he
basically,
hold
what you're
on.
telling me...
Hold
Okay,
on.
go ahead.
Then he was an executive producer on 13.2. And then in 2012 on the first Fiat Ritmo. And he's actually one of the executive producer of All the Bravest, that terrible mobile
God.
game.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you do
Any-
record keeper?
And he's credited also for Lightning Returns.
Well, there you go,
As
Pedro.
executive producer, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. Basically, Drips, there was a time before Record Keeper and Brave Axios, and even Mobius, honestly, where Square Enix was testing the ground with mobile games, but were testing it very
It's
badly.
important. Okay, so now that we actually got
It's
all
important
five
because
pieces of
Pedro's zipping through it. Go on.
all we have to do now is give them the pieces. However, since it's going to take a while and there's no point in going for that right now, we're going to take this time to read one of the Tales of Wonder that we haven't read yet.
Alright then.
Get
Narrator
ready,
Dwebs, take it away.
Specifically, Dweebs is gonna be the one about the eye that you saw earlier.
This is one of my personal favorites. The fifth tale, The Boy Who Would Be Called.
The wizard who controlled the clouds. There once was a boy wizard who was endowed with a great magical ability. No sooner was he able to walk and he could cast spells no other wizard could. Controlling the clouds above and making great seas and mighty mountains move at will. And we're going to mute the video because the music kind of ruins the mood. In truth, such feats did the boy more honor than he deserved, for he had not practiced any more diligently than other wizards. His talents were innate and had been with him since birth. The boy, however, grew up quite certain that he had been blessed by the gods, and came to believe that his rightful place was among them, in heaven itself. No sooner had the thought crossed his mind and the boy became desirous to make it an immediate reality. Bloody localizers. Boys who are born with such exceptional powers are seldom accustomed to waiting.
Dweebs, it's your own ancient dialect language in English.
I'm Australian.
Richard Mark Honeywood, this annoys Dwebs.
It is a cold
Wait, are you saying that you're of Australian descent?
No, he's Australian.
He's Australian.
Who's Australian?
Richard Mark Honeywood, the director of the English voice acting of the game.
For Jabbar
Well, there you go.
The highest mountain in all the world, and climbed to its summit, reasoning that
So you'll be the wizard.
Clearly, if you were closer to heaven.
Gods, I beseech you to listen. I am the most powerful wizard in this world. Verily, no man alive is my equal, and thus I believe in my place is in heaven with you. I wish for you to consider me one of your own.
The heavens responded with an enormous thunderclap. The boy wizard's insolence had roused the passion of the gods. The thunder was followed by a bolt of lightning aimed directly at the boy. But the boy was ready. With a simple wave of his wand, he swatted the lightning away. I feel like Tom Hardy reading the CBBS bedtime story.
Well, Dwebs, in that case, why don't you try reading in Morgan Freeman voice?
Nah.
We will learn true facts about the wizard.
I'll give it a shot, but
Don't if you don't feel like it.
Do you see?
He cried to the gods with glee.
Do you see how powerful I am?
At length, a voice responded from the heavens.
Who?
Yeah.
Pedro?
Boy, if you truly believe yourself to be as powerful as a god, then you may prove it by taking this trial. Overcome it, and your wish shall be granted.
The boy leaped with great joy upon hearing these words, believing as he did that no trial was beyond his powers.
Dodo?
Suddenly, however, everything became quite dark. The boy had no idea where he was. Indeed, his hand could not be seen in front of his face. The voice spoke once more.
Boy, this is the world of darkness. God is not pleased with you, so your task is to tolerate it for 8 days.
So it's simply a matter of waiting?
Thought the boy, relieved.
That shall not prove difficult.
But the voice went on.
There is a door in front of you, boy. Raise your hand and you shall feel it. On the other side of this door is the world of light, where all godly knowledge resides. Enter and you shall become one of us. The door, however, must not be opened until 8 days have passed.
With that, the voice fell silent and all was quiet once more. The boy restored his hand in front of him. Though he could not see it, the door was there, just as the voice had said.
I shall open that door.
The voice said decisively.
I shall wait a full 8 days, and then I shall become a god, and whatever the page has turned.
Whatever, we get the point. 7 days of
darkness. At
yeah,
first, the boy could do nothing but sit and contemplate his current plight.
God, just go back to your regular narrator.
Aren't you
please.
supposed to be the narrator in the third-person realm?
All sorts of thoughts. Sorry, my dial on my throat malfunctioned. What wonders awaited him when he became
So you...
It's the heaven that the gods called home.
The dial...
How would he know...
Oh, sorry, go on.
Shut up, Mr. White, I'm narrating here! How would he treat his human minions once he was one of their gods? And so it went on. He found himself increasingly agitated, anxious to see what awaited him once he opened the door to the world of light. He kept his resolve for 6 days and 6 nights, but on the 7th day, the boy was overcome by curiosity.
In one more day, I shall become a god.
Thought the boy.
Surely it is not of consequence if I open the door just a little bit early.
But actually, you know what I feel like now? There was this show called Jack and Ori, on the BBC.
Hold on, Dubs, just for the sake of the
He
time,
reached for
because
the
I
door
didn't
once
account.
more and traced its even surface. Eventually, his hand came across a small protrusion that felt like a cover of the keyhole. Timidly, the boy lifted it and looked through to the other side. A blaze of blinding light flooded through the keyhole, knocking the boy a full cubit backwards. It was incredibly bright, and yet he simply could not close his eyes. The world on the other side of the door was beyond the boy's human imagination. Its scale and beauty seemed to pierce his very soul.
The world of the gods! Cthulhu, no!
The thought alone made the boy shiver. But even as he did so, he was plunged into darkness once more. Basically, Ben Kingsley read this Egyptian bedtime story.
The ever-wandering eye. Here we are.
The boy had failed the trial, yet he was still allowed to enter heaven and become one with the force of the gods, for they acknowledged his abilities and showed compassion toward him. They could not, however, show the same compassion toward his eye, the one that appeared at the world of light. The eye was condemned to wander, disembodied through the skies for all eternity. The boy wizard's eye traverses the skies to this day, soaring above the birds, gazing down upon the world below. It can never hope to soar as high as the heaven where the gods reside, however. Indeed, it is trapped between the human world and the world of the gods forever. Occasionally, when it is overwhelmed with extreme dissatisfaction, the eye swoops down close to the Earth's surface, bringing a devastating whirlwind in its wake. These howling gales are known to have destroyed cities and forests, and are rightly feared by ordinary humans.
Sounds familiar, doesn't
the
it?
consequences of the boy wizard's folly are still being felt.
So yeah, the wizard's eye has now become the eye of the storm that marooned us on this island.
Well, thanks a lot, you ungrateful brat. You nearly killed us.
Well, remember, the White Witch specifically said that she gave the control of that to Shadar. So.
Yeah.
Wait, a person who loses his eye? Oh god, it's Golden Eye Rogue Agent.
Oh, really? I'm not familiar with that, so... Anyway, we're going to hand over the pieces of art to Smiley and Surly.
I'm going to hand you the 9 pieces of 8.
How do, boys? We got the pieces of art for you, and it... By the way, I love the way he gives them, by the way. Nice one, Drippy boy. You're a proper legend, man.
It goes to his head really fast.
You serious about this, is it? Making Mam laugh, I mean? Flippin' heck, man. Talk about it in the flippin' deep end.
Well, you only hope, so... yeah. Stop fretting, man. You'll be fine. Righto, boys. Get ready for a dose of just what the doctor ordered.
Alright.
Okay, let's have a listen.
Alright. Drippy, what do you...
Is he possessed?
Kamehameha!
Even did it.
Oh, okay.
Flipmon!
It's actually super effective.
What's all this, Steady? I feel weird as heck, man.
Oh boy.
So if it's this...
Editor, I feel like I've woken up after a proper long sleep or something. I feel better, man.
So wait, if it's this easy to bring back art, why haven't we been able to... Why did it take so long for M. Night Shyamalan's to come back to him?
I think.
This only works for fairies,
I've seen that
sadly.
difference.
I wonder, actually, maybe it took time to get the pieces of art for him.
Which means M. Night Shyamalan is actually a fairy, which makes sense now. Don't you see, Pedro? Don't you see, Pedro? Don't you see, Pedro? Don't you see, Pedro? This is why Lady in the Water was such a fairy tale, because M. Night Shyamalan is a fairy himself.
This will be a laugh, literally.
Yeah.
I know, amazing, and that's the power of the pieces of art, man. Proper miraculous they are. Sure, Joe, I guess. You can put it that way.
I can't wait for our first Squirm Generations commentary of that when we get to finally show Shiroi, Lady in the Water.
I can make a brick wall laugh. I feel so flippin' funny, man. Let's flippin' do this. Show me the mummy.
I wonder what flip it. Oh boy.
Hold up. We need to practice first, and though. Never mind jumping the gun, man. You're flying over the thing.
All right.
Okay, you should practice. We'll come back when you're ready. Shiroi, is flip what I think it is equivalent-wise in Welsh? Larry?
Sure.
No, it just means ridiculous.
There you go. See, calling her by Larry gets the immediate response.
All right. Now we get one final chance to prepare ourselves for the dungeon ahead.
What was that, sorry?
No, I said I'd have to think of a second. Like, flip is basically used in the place of words like bloody, like this is bloody ridiculous kind of thing.
So, like the F word, I was going to ask.
Yeah, it is like the F word.
Alright then. Well, see ya.